Amen.
Sokhna Aida, may you have a long and healthy life. Amen. May you live forever. Amen. May we be with you forever. Amen. Me, you know, only my wife can tell you, I fight not to talk. She makes me talk. She always encourages me to talk. Me, I'm kind of shy in front of the disciples. Because you're my Mboko Taliban.
And we says you have to be talking. You have to say, give your thanks.
You're my Mboko Taliban. Many of you have been big examples for me. As a disciple, and just as a human being. You know, Senegal is the country of Teranga. You know, in Indianapolis, when Sokhna was talking about the things she fears for her children, her children. Me, I experienced everything that you fear. But I'm going to tell you one thing for sure I know, because my mother told me. She said when I was a little boy in a crib, there was a man who appeared. She seen him walking across the floor, and she was so frightened. My father was laying next to her, but she couldn't move, and she could hear the floor creaking. And she said the man got over my crib and was looking over my crib, and she was so frightened she couldn't move. She said the man looked like Serigne Saliou, be like.
Was that a dream or?
No, that was real.
That was real.
That was when I was a baby in the crib. Me, I don't know nothing about Senegal except what I experienced in the Sheikh. So when I was coming up, but I'm telling you, there's been many things that happened in my life. I know the Sheikh has had a hand on me from that time to this time. I'm telling you, your children that are with the Sheikh, they won't see none of the things that I saw. They won't experience any of the things that I've seen. Because the Sheikh, I know for sure, he has his hand on these children. I promise you that. Me, I'm not big enough or have come enough. It's just my experience. What I've lived as a human being, as a person, as a man. When God wants you to go somewhere, there's nothing that can prevent it. Sheikh Beto said to me when I met him, I'll give you a new mind, a new body, and a new soul. That was Sheikh Beto who said that. It was me and my translator, Hassan John. I don't know, I can't say the name properly. But he said that in front of him, and he translated it. And I knew that only Allah could do something like that. That's one of the things that he said to me. Because I asked him about a dream about Qiyam. He said, today is your day of judgment. Today you are standing before your Lord. So know that every day we're standing before our Lord and walking with Sheikh Beto. Me, I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I know I want to be a Taliban. That's the only thing. I'm not saying I am a Taliban. I know that's what I want to be. That's all I've ever wanted to be. So when the Sheikh gave the indigo for us to be with you, there was no doubt. There was no hesitation. That's why I'm standing up and giving my chant, because I call that the time of chaos. Everybody was running around, acting crazy, but I had no doubt. And what I'm giving thanks about is the fact that you have put us with Sokhna Bator. And I'm saying Mangi too. I said it when I made the ziyar, but I'm going to say it again now as everybody as my witness. Because I'm 52 years old, and there's one thing I pride myself on. I'm not among the ignorant. Because Sheikh Beto has erased all ignorance out of me. Every decision that I make is with cognizance. I think. So I know I'm not moving in ignorance. I know I'm moving not because I deserve it. I'm telling you, man, these streets, these neighborhoods, I've been everywhere. if this was the day of Qiyam, like the Sheikh said, these streets could testify about me, and I would go to the hellfire. Be lying. I'll give another example. Before I go on with Sokhna Bator, my mother, she's 91. And I was her caregiver. She was staying with my wife and me. I did everything for my mother. With the assistance of my wife. Cooked for her, bathed her, combed her hair, dressed her, put on her clothing for her. I did everything, and I set her down, and we would talk. And she would testify. She looked at me. This is somebody who look at you from a baby, a crib, walking like a boy, being a man. She said, I never thought you would be this good. That's my mother saying that. I never thought you would turn out to be this good. You are a good man. You're a good father. You're a good husband. And I know that's all because of Sheikh Beto. I know that's all because of Sheikh Beto. And when my father passed, he was in the house. He was in the house. And I told my father, and he was on his deathbed. He had cancer, he was on his deathbed. He told me one thing that sticks with me. He told me one thing which I was proud of because he would never give it to me. He said, you a man. It took me till I was, I don't know, 32, 34, I think. I forget the number. For him to say, you a man. That's how stern he is. He's a World War II veteran, old school. He said, you a man. And then he looked at me and he said, you, without even hearing this, you have a lot to be thankful for. And he said, this is my father, the last talk. He said, whatever has changed you, he said, me, I want to know about it. And he know I'm a Muslim. He know I'm a Chaptakun. My father's such a staunch, stern person. Some Muslim in the streets trying to come give him some information, he cuss him. But this is the same man looking at me after going to Sheikh Beto, saying I'm a man, saying you have a lot to give thanks for, and said whatever has changed you, I want to know about it. And I tell him, I said, well, we can talk to the Sheikh. The Sheikh can pray for you. I said, you can live. He said, me? He said, I'm tired, son. He said, don't worry, I had a long and beautiful and good life. He said, I'm ready to go. And just to give testimony, it was the son-in-law of Sheikh Malpinda. We came in from running the track. We exercised, and that's the day my father passed. And there was a Chet Tycoon there when they were bringing my father's body out. And he was praying for my father as he left. And we called the Sheikh. And the Sheikh said that his body is going to be lifted and put in tuba. That's what the Sheikh said to me. There have been many things I could give a testimony about. But the most recent testimony I could give about the Sheikh is through the mercy and grace that you've given us and being accompanied with Sokhna Bator. When I always make it, every time I could get off on the weekend, I go see my mother. I go there to look at the heaven that I came from. And sometimes I contemplate her goodness, her kindness, But the way Sokhna Batur has been with me, it's been like my mother. She made sure she called me when the Yesel had began to make for sure that I was not lost. That's her kindness, her consideration, and her love for me. And I would be ungrateful and among the ignorant if I didn't testify to that. As we were going through the Yesel, I would find myself sometimes in despair. Because many times when the Sheikh blesses you, it's not always money. Through so many calamities. And at times, Sokhna Batur would pick me up like my mother. I remember telling the Sheikh, I give an example, I remember telling the Sheikh when he was here that I was driving my mother's car to do the work for him. And he said, oh, she's going to live a long and healthy life for that. The reason why I stand here and talk with such truth and honesty is not because I'm an honest person or I'm a truthful person. It's me. I know you see me clearer than I see you. I know you see everything that I say, everything I don't say, and everything that I hide. So I might as well put it all out there. And that's how it's going to be.
She believes that. And
I remember the Sheikh gave me one secret when I was in synagogue, and I'll share with everybody. He said somebody was trying to instruct me in the conduct and behavior of a Taliban with the Sheikh. And I would just go sit with the Sheikh all day. They would say, you don't do that. And he said, I would look at him, and they said, you can't look at the Sheikh like that. And the Sheikh said, Serigne Khadim, he said, it's okay for you to look at me. He said, because there's an exchange, a spiritual exchange between the disciple and his Sheikh. He said, now don't stare at me all day, but be looking at me from time to time. So that's why I always gaze at you, and for the spiritual exchange, the Sheikh gave me that knowledge, so I share that with everybody. And I want to finish, and I'm gonna wrap it up. Sokhna Batur, like I said when I was talking about the prayer the Sheikh did for my mother, and everything she had did for me, like a mother does for a son. Your mercy and grace for me has come through Sokhna Batur. Sometimes she has picked me up like I was her son. When I needed to be held, she would hold me and my family. And I just want to thank her in front of everybody. Because your love, when I told you I know you love me more than I love you, it's because the actions and the wish was coming through her to me, for me. And I received tangible, not intangible, not no tangible thing you can hold in your hand and say, I owe Sokhna Batur. And she said, you don't owe me nothing. I did it for the love of the Sheikh. And I say that to say, there's only two people I trust. That's you. Because the Sheikh said, you or him, and he is you. And Sokhna Batur, because the way she was behaving as a disciple with you. I've never seen anybody behave like that. There's only been one other person who I really wanted to imitate. That was Joran Chofel. Idris Assam. That I wanted to imitate. But there's another person I want to imitate. Imitation, they say, is the best flattery and the best compliment. Me, I want to imitate Sokhna Batur. The way she behaves with you, how she works for you. Her only focus is you. And when she calls me, she makes for sure that I'm focused, that I'm in the work. Even sometimes when she thinks I'm not being right, she say, hey, Serigne, Khadim, you need to be, I don't care what you got going on, you need to be in the conference call. Pushing me. So I just wanted to thank her in front of everybody. And I'm asking her forgiveness because, you know, I felt bad for not being there when she arrived, because to me that's a sign that I don't want to leave with her. Me, I'm not ungrateful to you. And I love you, you know, from my heart.
To join you here. Because you are the mercy as the Mbokk Talibe, my fellow Talibe, told. I'm very thankful to you because Serigne Becho, has put us with you. And when we are with you, we are on the best path. We are on the speediest path. And you was and you were an example, because the way you followed Serigne Becho show us how to follow you. And my Mbokk Talibe, Serigne Khadim, Cummings, what he've just said, I know that I'm doing an obligation, my duty, because she's Serigne Becho's reality. I'm her door, and I have to focus on her. And I have to call you on her word, because with her, we are safe. And if we keep going, we'll have exponential benefits. I'm giving thanks. I can't tell you how, how great, how, happy, how amazing it is for me to be here with you. When I remember, I told you yesterday when I just, came from Senegal, I told our relationship, since 2004, 18 years of relationship. And 18 years of relationship is 18 years of marriage with Serigne Becho. And I remember when we were co-wives, Serigne Becho put you in front of us. He put me with you and told me, to follow you. And if I, didn't have you, I know that I would not be here now. I would not have what I got now, what I get now. I'm thankful to you. You were giving me strength, knowledge to work, to keep working for you, because I know that you've chosen me. Barke Serigne Becho. And the way you urge us to do more is what we want, because we want to get benefits, and we know that benefits are on your hands. jërëjëfati Sokhna Aida.
Sokhna Aida Saliou.